Knots. We love them. We all know we love them. Just kidding. Anyone who's ever been a Boy Scout knows that knots are not necessarily the most exciting thing on the planet to learn. But this knot could be the difference between you landing a 10-pounder or having your friend make fun of you for getting off at the boat. So make sure we all pay attention to this one. What's up, guys? I'm John Waters, and you are watching Unreal Outdoors, and today I'm be teaching you the Palomar knot. Now, for visual purposes, I will be demonstrating with some bigger rope and a frisbee, imitating the eye loop of my hook. So you guys will actually hopefully be able to see it a little bit better. But the Palomar knot is by far one of the best knots to know in fishing. It is super strong, it's super quick to tie, and it works on so many different lures ranging from any sizes, and it's just an all-around fantastic knot. So let's get into this with my beautiful props. Now, if you've heard of the Palomar knot, you might have heard of things like nothing stronger than a Palomar, and that's because this thing is super strong. Like, oh my gosh. As I mentioned, it's also a super quick tie. It's not anything like you have to do this, and then you have to get a different rope, and then you have to add this extra secret step that no one knows how to do. No, it's very simple, very straightforward, and it's a super easy knot to learn. So without further ado, let's get into it. Normally, you'd be tying this knot on your little loop attached to your lure, or through the eye loop of a hook, whatever. But for today's purposes, so it's a little bit bigger and easier to see, I'm gonna be using a frisbee and some rope. Heck yeah, we're doing it. So, step one is super easy. So imagine this is the eye loop of your hook. You're going to take an estimate of how much line you're gonna need, and you're gonna fold it in half just like that. And you're gonna stick it through the eye loop, and eventually you'll be able to get something like this where you have 2 strands of rope on each side. Now this next step might be very similar to something you guys have seen before. It's the first step to tying your shoe. You're going to cross your 2 lines just like that. So if I can get it to where you guys can see it. You're going to cross your 2 lines just like this. And then in this big loop that you made underneath it, you're going to take your loop end, so this end that's connected, not the line that has your main line and your tag line, the line that's connected, and you're going to tuck it under like so. So now at this point, you should have that little cross down there with your little loop holding it together. You should have one end that has your main line and your tag line. The tag line is this line that goes to nothing that you're seeing right here. And then your other end should be a loop. And so what you're going to do here, this is where we just crossed. Remember, we just crossed our lines over. Now, this is where it gets serious. You're going to take your hook or your bait or whatever, or in this case a frisbee, and you're going to engulf the entire thing with this loop. Just like that. So the loop just engulfed everything. It went over everything. So it turns out, guys, that rope does not cinch easily down onto a rubber frisbee. So instead, I'll be using a plastic boomerang. So when you cinch this knot down, you want to originally pull on your tag line, that line that doesn't go to anything. You want to pull that as tight as you can and get all these little kinks out. Then you'll see I still have some loops left over like that. Then you'll pull on your main line and you'll pull it just like that, and that will get you your knot perfectly. You can pull both of them together, tighten it up fully. The reason why I said pull on your tag line first is I'm trying to avoid getting kinks or any rips or any divots or anything like that, or just anything that could possibly weaken your actual fishing line and cause it to break. So that's why I say pull on that tag line first. You put most of the rough tension and most of the stuff on that tag line, and then you can pull on the other one to clean it up, and then you get that knot. So now I'll show you a fishing line, guys, and hopefully I'll be able to show you what I mean by those kinks as well. With me here, I got some 20-pound fluorocarbon. I got a nice glide bait, the Guggen Squad Junior Contender, and we're going to tie a Palomar knot. So first, we got to fold it first. So I'm thinking about that much should be good for my tag line. So we'll fold it right here. Got that little loop, guys. See him right there? And then I'll grab my bait, and I'll go up to this top loop thing, this top loop ring that they provide you already. I'll stick them through there. Boom, and then slide them down just like that so I get hands on both sides. Now I have one end that has a tag line and main line, and one end that has a loop. I'll then push them down a little bit to give me a little more extra, cushion with this loop line, and I'll do the crossover just like that. I'll pinch it there, and then I'll tuck it under the main loop that we just made just like that, and that was all with the loop end. Then I'll come with that loop, and I'll come down, and I will engulf the entire bait just like that. Now a fishing line, I mentioned getting strain, how you don't want your fishing line to strain. So what I typically do is I'll actually lick it, I'll wet it, and then I'll pull on my tag line first, just like that, and then I'll pull my main line, boom, just like that. And that, no kinks, it's all good. And now we can just cut our tag line off and you're good to start casting and start fishing. So I'll show you guys what I mean by that kinked line that could possibly break. You can see my tag line here. I tied on another bait and a little bit smaller line because smaller line is easier to get kinked. See how my tag line is just extremely all crooked, all circled up, all twisty. And if I actually feel it, there'll actually be little bumps and grooves and divots in there. That is a huge breaking strain, guys, and you got to avoid it. That will snap off even on some of the lightest fish you catch, and it's just something you do not want. That is why I lick my line or wet my line. It makes it all slide a lot easier. Luckily, I made this one in my tag line, so I can easily just clip that off and keep fishing. But you do not want that. That is a huge breaking strain that will make you lose fish, and no one likes to lose fish. No one. So as I said at the beginning of this video, the Palomar knot is freaking fantastic because it's super strong. I mean, that thing does not break. Like, it is stronger than like a marriage couple's love vows that have been married for 60 years. That thing does not break, and it is insanely powerful, but it's also super easy to tie on. So if the bite is just going crazy, you can tie on a Palomar knot super quick and get back to fishing and waste no time. It also works on a bunch of different sizes of baits. You guys saw me tie on a single tail grub and onto a glide bait in this video, guys. Make sure you start tying on your Palomar knots. Get that strength in your line. I mean, knots are something that can really make or break a fisherman or make or break a good or bad fishing day. And it's something that we all want to get good at, and with practice comes perfect. So thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe, and as always, happy fishing, y'all.